on? Did you miss us? I missed you all. It was definitely, so if you're just tuning in going, missed who, what, where, why? Well, it's because we've been off air for 2 weeks as we move to our new studio, which you can see part of it now, although the new studio is going to be still undergoing a lot of changes. But we have it enough now that we can open the doors, so to speak. And we're actually going to be posting a video later this week that talks about, showing you from beginning to end us moving in. But Board Game Breakfast is here, and that's what we're going to talk about. We got a lot of things to go over today, so let's start with a contest. We got 3 copies of the game Face to Face. This is a 2-player game, which I'm going to be reviewing later this week, actually, and I'll just, spoiler, I really like the game. The game, which it's a terrible name, but the game itself, the cooperative version of the game, was one that I found to be okay. The game Face to Face, a 2-player back and forth, I really enjoyed that one. And you can get a copy of this if you live in the USA, Canada, or Australia. All you have to do to enter is to email us at contest@dicetower.com. In the subject line, put F2F, which stands for Face to Face. Woo! And then in the body, you need to put what number is the highest card in the deck. I'll narrow it down for you. It's not 27. All right, so you don't put 27 in your answer. Anyway, we'll pick a random winner from those. So thanks to Pandasaurus for sponsoring that. And like I said, you can see the full review of that later this week. But enter the contest now to win one of those copies. All right, well, like I said, we're back. We're here in the studio. Everything is full bore this week. All of our normal stuff is back, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on in the show. I'm excited about that, but I'm also excited that we got some contributors, and here they are.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
Today we're talking about Moonrakers. This is from Ivy Studio, and this reminds me of James Bond movies, like, Moonraker, giant laser.
Oh my gosh.
It has nothing to do with that. It just reminds me of it every time I see it.
Yeah, I never made that connection until right now. Now saying that.
This is an engine building, deck building game, but it has elements of negotiation as well. You're having to team up with your opponents in order to take on these contracts. They get harder and harder as the game goes on, and eventually you just can't do them by yourself. You need other people.
Yeah.
And even early on, you might as well just get some help too. You might have to give up some resources to make it happen, but yeah, this was a lot of fun as deck building with negotiation. The first time I've seen those two things combined.
I really enjoyed the aspect that you have your own personal ship and you can do ship upgrades. You can only keep 4 though, and I was doing them so much that I'd have to cycle through and kick things out because I just really enjoyed putting things on my ship. That helped me most of the time, but other times I was just having fun with all the ship stuff that was going on here.
Yeah, the bits in this game, fantastic. The insert was phenomenal. That really matters to me for some reason. More good inserts need to be shouted out.
Yeah.
This had a great one.
So we really enjoyed this one. Everybody, I wanted to give you a little update. I know that Ryan and I like to talk about things that we're doing to achieve better health in our life. And sometimes what you have to do is just stop for a little bit. So not Ryan, he'll still be here to entertain you all, but I am actually going to take a short break from Board Game Breakfast because mentally we were just doing too much. And so something had to go. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be here all the time. I will be back. This is not indefinite, but I just wanted to let y'all know.
All right, you guys, like I said, I will be here trying to do my best to review games without my better half. The banter will be one-sided, which is terrible.
There will be no banter.
I'll just be waiting, dramatic pauses, waiting for you guys to respond back.
Yeah, do that. They'll love it. Well, everybody, thank you so much. We hope that you have a happy, healthy breakfast.
Bye everybody.
Hi, I'm Jordan. This is Weeknight Gaming, where I talk about a game that's good to play after a stressful day of work and parenting. This is Point Salad. This is what gamers would typically say is a filler game, a short game that you play between, those real games of those game nights that everybody used to go to that we don't anymore. And now us tired parents play these because this is what we got and this is what we have the energy for. In this game, you are going to have multi-use cards. It's going to be a front and a back for each card. On the front of each card is going to be a different type of vegetable, and on the back is going to be a scoring objective, and you're going to be drafting these off the table. So for instance, this one would give you 5 points for every set of tomato and pepper that you have, and this one just gives you various points based off of the types of vegetables that you have listed here on the card. You're going to be collecting these point cards and then collecting the vegetables to go along with them. And what makes it such a good game for a weeknight? So this one is a game that you can play super easily. Get in, get out. The rulebook is very easy to learn from. It is a quick kind of game that you can refresh your memory if you don't remember, because you're really just doing one or two things on your turn. You're just drafting a card and putting it in front of you. Not really too much decision space that needs to be thought about there, but still feels like you're making some good choices there. There's a lot of really interesting scoring opportunities here. So one game you might just go straight tomatoes. One game you might be trying to get sets of different things. One game you might be trying to do kind of a balance of those depending on what cards come up. And you're going to be using different cards every single game, especially with 2 players if you're playing on a weeknight at home. It's going to be a game that you play a couple times. It's only 15 minutes long, so it's kind of that potato chip kind of game. You finish it, and you're going to want to play it again. You might play this 3 or 4 times on a weeknight because it is so quick, it is so easy, and it feels, you know, just really kind of a refreshing kind of game. You know, like how a salad is supposed to feel when you eat it. I'm Jordan.
All right, each week I show off some stuff from the Board Game Geek Store, and that's also, if you like the promos, you can go to the Board Game Geek, go to their store and buy them, and as time goes by, we'll be announcing our own promos that will be available there. This is a promo for Roll and Roll, right. Yeah, I mean, I don't see that this is a bad promo to get because the game can use more buildings. So this is the Pantheon, has to be completely on a hill. If you know anything about the game, that's not so easy to do. But yeah, and that's another building for there. Then we have these matter extractors. This is for Alien Frontiers, which is a game that I need to get back to the table. I haven't played for a while. So you get 2 of these cards, and you can steal stuff from the stacks or take another alien artifact. Then we have this little expansion here for War of the Ring. This is a silly expansion, I think, and Roy told me about this, where basically you can get rid of the eagle figure, and basically if you have it in the Fellowship, they can go all the way and win the game, unless a shadow player can argue. And when Gandalf said, "Fly, you fools, folks," he was not telling them to use the eagles and fly. He was telling them to run. And the same thing here, you can get rid of somebody, you can get rid of the card. This is okay, I guess, if you want that silliness in your game. Then Board Game Geek has these cup holders here. So you can, well, this soda doesn't fit in that cup holder. And this cup doesn't fit in there very much. But you're not supposed to be drinking those at the game table anyway. You're supposed to be putting a water bottle in them. And also it would hold the thinner soda cans for people who drink sodas from there. So, and these stack like this, so you can stack these. Actually, that's a... they do stack because I just pulled them off the stack of these. So that holds your drinks at the table without them falling over, because we all know a spill at a table is a terrible thing. Then we got these. These are to hold game components. This is kind of this rubbery matte stuff, and you see different colors. And when you take this and you push it in here, and I'm not very good at this, and I found it's not too easy to get in, but once it does go in, it will lock that corner in place. I did some ahead of time when I said I did some. Mike DeLisio did them, but I did one, and he did 2. So that's what they look like here. And then these are just so that you can put components in these. So if you want to use these as component bowls or component bins, they're easy to store around. And so there you go. Holds the components very nicely. I know a lot of people really like these. Anyway, that's what's at Board Game Geek Store. Let's keep going.
Hi, I'm Tim.
I'm Lizzie.
And we are To Play
Or Not.
To Play, a show about board games for 2 players.
Whose tastes may differ.
Good morning.
Morning. Welcome back to our top 10 games like to play together. Today is number 4.
Yeah.
And today's
one that I particularly...
This is your choice, really, isn't
This
it?
is one of mine. You do like them.
I do.
I really, really, really like them. And number 4 is
Unlock.
the whole spectrum of
Yeah,
unlocks. 2 to 6 players, and it's definitely 60 minutes.
Yeah, it is
No more,
exactly
no less.
60 minutes. Yeah.
Well, less if you do
Well,
really
true
well.
enough. Yeah.
We own an escape room business, if you don't know.
Yeah.
Currently not.
Currently closed
operational.
due to COVID. Boo.
So hence why this is in our top 10. Because we do like all that.
Yeah, we do like all
escape
escapey
business.
stuff, don't we? Yeah.
Me more. But you do enjoy.
I do enjoy. Yeah, I mean, so this is your choice as one of our kind of top 10s
This is why
because
it's so high in the top 10, Claire. Really.
yeah, you really like these. I mean, I love them because obviously, as Bear said, we run an escape room, but these are kind of an escape room in a box. If you've not done one of these and you've played something like Exit, they're very similar. This is just a pack of cards.
I think this is more mainstream than Exit.
I think
more,
so.
Yeah.
It's got an app as well, so the app kind of
10
runs
plus
the.
as well. It's more kind of, you know.
Yeah, the app runs the game. The app kind of scores if you fail or if you finish
got
early.
theme tune on there as well.
Yeah, it's got some puzzles on there that you kind of need to action. There are codes that you need to put in to open certain things and access certain cards.
Actually,
Works
so
really
it's
well.
just like a card, isn't it? If,
Yeah.
For example, you can be in a room and a door would be card number 7, and you find a key that's card number 3, and then when you total them up together, 7
They're kind of
and
like
3,
puzzle pieces, aren't they? Blue and red, and you put the blue and red
you
together.
turn over number 10 card, and it means you've unlocked that door with that key.
If it's correct.
If
So,
it's
sometimes
correct.
it's like, no, that's not
Yeah.
correct. So things like that.
That's how you do things in this.
Yeah,
game.
and there are things to look at. You know, there are pictures of a room that you're in with little numbers around the edge, so you kind of look at those numbers and say, oh, number 6 is a cupboard. Let's look at number 6. So you take number 6 card, look at that, and it shows you the cupboard
What's in
and
it.
maybe some
Yeah.
books in there that are certain colours, whatever. I
And
don't
there,
know.
are,
So-
there are hidden things on the cards as well. Like you've really got to keep an eye
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
Hidden numbers and things.
Nice little game, and there are 3 in this box, 3 different adventures, and you can get them in singles as well. So you can buy just one adventure or in 3 packs, and there's lots of them. I think 8 now or something. So
There's quite a few
yeah,
going
quite a
around,
few
isn't
going
there?
on. 8 boxes of 3. I mean,
Good fun. But the timing is a good thing.
Yeah.
It adds a bit of tension
yeah, a bit of
to the
jeopardy.
game.
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
Great fun
So
for families. Really good.
we get it to the table a lot because we like it a lot. Hope you do too. So
Yeah.
there you go. Unlock. That's like escape.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah, because you are escaping. Anyway, so enjoy the rest of your breakfast, guys. See you next time. Number 3. Ooh.
This is a segment where we take a game based on an IP, and I tell you if the mechanism and the IPs mesh well together, and whether it's a game you should check out. Today we're looking at Lord of the Rings, the deck building game. This is the one based on the Fellowship of the Ring. To play Lord of the Rings, the deck building game is very easy. You take 5 cards, put them face up as the path. Then you're going to choose a character, which will give you 1 card you put in your hand. You'll take 3 despair and 6 courage. That'll be your 10 cards, and you shuffle them up. You then draw 5 cards to be your starting hand. Now, there's only 1 currency in this game, which is power. I just count up my power. I have 3, and I can purchase a card in here. This card right here will cost 3 power and give me 1 victory point. I put all these cards in my discard pile, and I draw 5 more from the deck, and a new card will come out. Next player will go on my next turn, the same thing. Now, some of these cards might give you powers. They're artifacts that you can utilize, and you continue doing that. The game will end in one of 2 ways. Either this deck cannot replenish any of this because it's all out, or all these bad guys are defeated. When you can defeat a bad guy on your turn, you just have to have more power than what they have, and you get the victory points. They go into your deck, and they will help you in the future. When you beat Lurch, the game ends. Whoever has the most victory points is the winner. Now, Lord of the Rings, the deck building game, is based off the DC deck building game system. I believe that was the original one, and there's a ton of these with different IPs. Lord of the Rings is another one. It has stills on it versus unique artwork, which I prefer, but some have trouble with. And I feel like it's a very basic system. Some of the cards you're getting won't thematically necessarily make sense, although I think it works better here than in DC. And as you're going through the Fellowship, you're kind of fighting and having more war, if you will, with these villains more than the game. Now, this only takes the first movie into play, and you won't be able to go all the way through the saga without getting 2 additional games. So this is just a Fellowship and what you're doing in that movie. Do the mechanisms and the IP mix together okay? It's okay. I mean, it's a stretch. I feel like some of the sequels do a little bit better job, but in this one, I feel like it's okay. If you're looking for a light deck building experience, this could definitely be it. If you like the Lord of the Rings, it's going to be higher up on your list, but the mechanism and the IP mixed together, not wonderfully, but a little bit. and that might be enough for you.
Like I said, we are back. We have a lot of things going up this week, so let me tell you what we're doing. Later on today, in an hour from this, Z's going to be doing What's Happening. An hour after that, Stella and Taryn are going to be showing you how to play Burn. And then an hour after that, I'll be doing a live Q&A here. So lots of things go up today. And also, Brian is reviewing Power Grid. And Ella's looking at A Gentle Rain later today. And there's previews going up. Me and my kids are going to be reviewing Equinox later this week. We got a boring unboxing coming that has a ton of stuff since it has all the stuff that we got while we were off air. We're going to show videos on how we moved into here. Shoots and Marbles tomorrow, folks. If you haven't been involved with Shoots and Marbles, that's a live marble racing show tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And, of course, crowd surfing. We did actually do crowd surfing last week, and that will be back again this coming Wednesday. I'll be taking a look at Space Invaders, the board game. All four of us will be taking a look at both Red Rising, and we'll also be doing a Four Squares review on Merchant's Cove. I'll be taking a look at the new expansion for Keyforge. Roy's taking a look at the newest stuff for Marvel Champions. Tim's going to teach people how to play Monster Slaughter. And, man, there is just a lot of stuff. I'll be doing 7 games I won't play again on Friday. So, alrighty. I think there's more. Oh, werewolf games are back. Yeah, we're putting up 2 werewolf games this week. So, hopefully you enjoy all the content. Lots of stuff. Time to catch up. Well, I mean, no, your time to catch up was the last 2 weeks. Time for new things. All right, let's keep moving.
Hey there everyone, it's Jen, the board game librarian, flipping some pages and pushing some cubes with my segment from the page to the table where I pair books and board games together and everyone's just happy afterwards. I'm going to do something a little different this time. I'm only going to talk about a book. What? Wait, hold on. Okay, you'll see why. I'd like to thank Simon & Schuster for sending me a copy of this for review, and especially Eric Arneson, who is the author of How to Host a Game Night. Eric wrote what I consider a love letter to board games. Eric has a background as a journalist, blogger, internet writer, and has been a longtime gamer. And he wrote this book as a love letter to board gaming. I read this book with a lot of excitement and happiness. Eric's writing is very, very, very funny, very engaging, interesting, exciting, and you feel like you're right there with Eric as he's explaining to you why he loves board games, why he loves hosting board games, and why board games are his passion and hobby. And as someone who is a former journalist myself, I really fed off of this. Eric has written several chapter book here on various types of hosting that you would do for game night, whether it be virtual gaming, it be large convention style, sort of mini cons, like I often do at the library, or something very intimate where it's maybe just you and your partner playing a 2-player game night. So for those times when you can host a game night, which, oh lordy, I hope they're soon, you might want to check out Eric Arneson's How to Host a Game Night.
I noticed that Steve says, love the new studio. I hope it exceeds your needs for years to come. Well, it is meeting our needs for right now. But yeah, this is going to be a process, and that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. So we're settling into the new studio. I gave us 2 weeks to move in. I suppose in a perfect world, we could have rushed and got everything in 1 week and been ready to go last Monday, possibly. But it would have been haphazard and off-kilter. And as it was, we're still not 100% ready to go now. But that's just the way it's going to be. I don't know that if we had another week, we'd be like, I think, because over the next probably 3 months, you're going to notice glitches and problems because we were so settled into the old studio. We knew where everything went, and we still made mistakes there too. But as time goes by, we're like working on lighting, because lighting's a really big deal. We're working on backgrounds, where the monitor is. My monitor's right there. I'm looking at the monitor, but I need to look at the camera, which is there, my computer, which is here. And so there's a lot of different things going on in that regard. So keep that in mind. And of course, I already saw a comment here in the thread how much people like the old stuff better. But just as a small heads up, the old stuff is gone, destroyed, obliterated. We can't go back to the old stuff. If you like the old stuff better, so be it. We can and will always try to move forward. We always try new things, try to make things look cool, try to make things both look neat, but also meet what I like. Like, I like Chotsky stuff like this, so I have a shelf here to put things on. That's my style. It's probably not the most professional thing that's out there, but it's something that I like doing. But so we have 3 new studios now. We have the big live studio that I'm in right now. We have another smaller studio for reviewing board games and some other live things. We have an unboxing studio now where we unbox games. We'll also use that for other things too as time goes by. And we have the board game library here, which is both good and slightly bad. Here's why it's bad. So distracting. So distracting to see. I don't know how many games are yet because I'm not done counting them. I'm at 853, but I still have many shelves to go yet. There's about 2,000 games there. And it's amazing, and I'm working on that every day. Every day I record some videos and work on the library. Now, why am I working on the library? Because we use this library for our events. And speaking of events, we have 2 retreats we're running this year. We're running one in Miami this September, which is just 200 people getting together, playing games the whole time. And we're running one in Orlando in November, same thing. The September one, we're about to close registration on it, but we do have about 10 spots left or so. And if you want to go to that Dice Tower retreat, you need to let us know right now. Email Kenny@dicetower.com and let them know that you'd like to come to that. And then you'll be able to partake in that. So anyhow, we want to thank everybody who's been patient with us as we come down. I'm just asking that your patience continue because we're still trying to figure out the workflow. We've already have some things set up and we're like, this is going to be so much better. Like, for example, where the games are now. The flow is so much better that games go from one location to another location to another. It works really well. It works better than the old studio. But tomorrow, and today we're doing more live things. This is the first time Board Game Breakfast has been done in this area, and we think this is how we're going to run it, but it might change as time goes by. We did crowd surfing on Wednesday last week. That's going to change. We're going to do a top 10 next week, a live top 10. I'm so excited about it. It's been a long time since we've done one of those. And as time goes by, we're going to be bringing guests in and doing top 10s. And the era of us doing stuff remotely is going to be coming not to a close. You're still going to be seeing us do that with Board Game Breakfast on Thursday because it wouldn't be fair to ask Mr. Bonico to travel 2 hours to come down here for breakfast for 40 minutes. So we'll be doing that remotely. But other than that, we're going to be trying to move as much stuff back in studio as we possibly can. So that's where we're at. We're settling in. Now, I know the question, and I'll probably get asked this many times, is what the schedule is for the Dice Tower for the rest of the year. I don't know. I do know that we're doing a summer spectacular, an autumn spectacular, and a winter spectacular, and those are going to be fun and fantastic. And I know we're going to Gen Con, and we're doing the 2 retreats, like I just said. Other than that, we'll announce stuff as we know. So give us some time as we settle in, but hopefully the end product will be better than ever.
Hi there, I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate.
And today we're taking a look at A Little Wordy by Exploding Kittens.
A Little Wordy is a word game with some deduction elements. Let's take a look at it.
In a game of A Little Wordy, players will use 7 consonants and 4 vowels to make a secret word of any length that they will keep hidden from the other player. Players will then take turns using the clue cards in the center of the table to gain information on the other player's word, such as what the first letter is or how long the word is. But you pay the other player a number of berry tokens to use the clue. Stronger clues cost more berries. Once both secret words are solved, whoever has more berries wins. Okay, so now we're going to share Sam's thoughts, the non-gamer here, on what she likes and maybe doesn't like too much about A Little Wordy. So Sam, what do you like about this game?
I thought this game was great. It's a really good combination of Scrabble and kind of a hangman type game. So games that everyone's pretty familiar with. I thought it's very quick. It's a unique spin with the cards and the deduction aspect of it. And at the same time, it's familiar. So I think it's just a really great game that you can play with a lot of different types of people. Maybe the one bad thing would be depending on each person's vocabulary. If you have a bigger vocabulary, if you're a little bit more wordy, then you may do better in this game. But that's going to be the case with any type of Scrabble type game.
Sure. Scale of 1 to 10, love to hate. What do you give this?
I'd give it an 8.
All right, an 8. For Sam, I'm Lance, and this was Love to Hate.
Hey everyone, today on the plastic canvas I'm going to show you how to make these board game coasters. Hey everyone, Matt here from the Plastic Canvas, and today I'm going to really quickly take you through how I made these board game theme coasters. So the starting point was to save all of the different box cover images that I wanted to use. Then I found a hexagonal shaped outline of Google Images, saved that, and then took a coaster that I already had that was about the right size, traced around it to work out how big I wanted my coasters to be. I then made that hexagonal outline that same size, laid it over each of the different images that I'd saved off Board Game Geek, trimmed them down to the right size, added a black border, and then laid each of them onto pages to be printed. Then I headed down to my local hardware store, bought some thin MDF boards. These I think were placemat templates, and then trimmed them all out and then just traced around the edge of each of them onto these MDF boards. You see I used my ruler to connect all of the lines there, and then using my X-Acto knife and my metal ruler, then went around and just carefully cut all of them out. I started on one side, then flipped the board over, and then just carefully scored just to finish it off. And then I had all of my bases ready to be painted. So just using my black primer that I use for all of my minis to spray them on both sides, and then using Mod Podge, which is kind of like PVA glue but more of a sealer. I just used a foam brush to paint it onto one side of the coaster and then the underside of the image, and then I just carefully laid it down, making sure I got rid of all of the air bubbles. Once it had dried, I then Mod Podged the underside and the edges as well, just to make sure it's all properly sealed. And then using Dimensional Magic from Mod Podge, I just laid a thick layer down over the image just to give that clear hard-wearing side that the cups or mugs are going to be sitting on. And that's how I made them. So I absolutely loved how these came up. I think the effect is awesome. It did take a little while, and there's a little bit more to it than what I've been able to explain in this amount of time, but if you'd like to see the full video, you can head to my channel, The Plastic Canvas, and I hope you enjoy your breakfast.
Those look amazing, but if I did those, my hands would be stuck to the table and they would look horrific. So I would just have to order those. By the way, folks, at the very beginning of the episode when I was talking about the Board Game Geek stuff, I said that the soda can didn't fit in. There's actually 2 sizes. The soda can fits in this one for all your Mountain Dew Major Melon drinking needs. This is closed, folks. I'm not drinking soda. All right, so let's talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier. I know this has been over for a couple weeks now, but that happened while we were moving. So I'm a big fan of Marvel Cinematic Universe, and both of these characters are characters I liked a lot. So a huge fan of WandaVision. I'm a huge fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'd say my least favorite stuff in Marvel Cinematic Universe I like better than most any other thing else. I'm a big fan of that, and I think they do a better job at world building than the comics does. Now, the Falcon and Winter Soldier stuff, there's going to be small spoilers here, maybe more than small spoilers, so jump to the next segment if you don't want to hear that. And the fact that the Falcon becomes Captain America, and by the way, that's not really a surprise or a spoiler since they've announced Captain America 4 and he's in it. I knew that from the comics, right? And I knew that he was more of he was a different style than Steve Rogers was. And so that sort of thing didn't surprise me. I would say that the trailer for Falcon and Winter Soldier I found to be a bit misleading, because the trailer showed this action-packed, bang 'em up, buddy cop, snark back and forth between the Falcon and Winter Soldier. And while that's part of the series, that was I thought, a small percentage of what was in the series. That the series itself was actually a more thoughtful series. And I think that there's some good messaging, and I think at the very end, there's a really strong emotional moment, and there's a lot of good points in it. This is a very slow series in many ways, where it takes a look at ordinary people's lives affected by the snap from Endgame, affected by, the superheroes and the supervillains and the things that they do. The characters in this, I thought, were all very well done, particularly Zemo. I really liked his character. Well, I'm not saying I really liked his character. I liked the way that his character was played. But I also thought the two main characters both did a good job, and there's various supporting characters. I would say that the bad guys in this one was the one set of bad guys in this. What were they called now? I can't remember. Freedom Fighters, or I don't remember what their name was. I found them to be not particularly interesting. I know that they tried to humanize the main one, Carly, to some degree, and they did that-ish, but I didn't find that to be that. I almost felt that was just a story device propelling it forward. Where would I put this in the pantheon? I don't know. It's a really good message. It's really neat, and I think that some things that I thought were pretty neat, I think some people watching them would be even more strongly affected by them, because of the cool, what they did here. And I think that there's a nice bridge between this and the next set of the Avengers, whoever they might be. And it looks like they're setting up for the Thunderbolts or the Masters of Evil, which I'm excited about too, because that would be a neat twist to see that come out in the future. So I liked it. I don't know when I'm going to go back and rewatch it. I think it will be a while, because it was interesting. My kids were not nearly as captivated by this as they've been by other things. There's really great action sequences, but they are few and far between. It's more about talking and philosophy than it is about action, but it's a good one. Right now, it's in the middle of the pack for me. I consider the series to be a movie thrown in there that I liked a lot, but almost feels like a building block towards other things. It's really cool, though, and I still think it's great because it's Marvel Cinematic Universe, but that's what I think.
Hey, Google, remind me to check the latest Dice Tower podcast. Google? Hey, Google. Hey, Google. Hey, Google, how many tablespoons go into a cup? Hey, Google. Google. Hey, Google. Hey, Google. Hey, Google. Google. Smartphone, my... The Spring Break solo series continues, this time with Cosmodrome Games' Smartphone Inc., which made quite the impression when it landed in 2018. Smartphone Inc. is a streamlined experience, easy to teach but challenging to play, and with exciting twists and turns which the players themselves create. This is because at the start of each round, players will choose the actions they're going to take in secret, and one of those actions is the adjustment of their selling price, which dictates turn order through each phase of each round. This creates tension and will often force players to think on their feet. The solo mode of Smartphone Inc. introduces Steve, who gets his own player color, his own separate player board, and possibly the creepiest meeple that I've ever seen in my board gaming hobby. Now, Steve takes every action shown on his player board, adding new actions during the improvement phase of each round, just like players do. During the other phases, though, he uses a flowchart style of AI. And to learn more about that, I recommend listening to the Dice Tower podcast, episodes 698 and 700, where the brilliant Jeff Engelstein discusses the various methods of tabletop AI. Now, on paper, this should make Steve quite the formidable opponent. However, there are two issues. First of all, Steve will always take the topmost visible improvement. That means that if a player beats Steve to the punch, they can force him to take a less beneficial improvement. Second of all, the player will always know what action Steve is going to take, including adjusting his price. This makes it very easy for the player to get ahead and stay ahead of Steve throughout the entire game. So if you feel like whooping up on a cardboard AI, this is probably your chance to do so. But you may find yourself missing out on some of that excitement and tension from the multiplayer game. Speaking of tension, I'd better wash up all those shirts before the wife gets home.
All right, here we go, folks. I'm excited. We got stuff to do. As soon as we're done here, I'm starting to review again. I've already recorded videos that are going up this week. We have stuff going out. Z's going to be live here at 10. Then we got more stuff coming out. I'll be back here with Q&A at noon. So lots of things to talk about. It's time to get moving. I hope you have a great, fantastic week. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast on the Dice Tower at the new studio.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.